Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we'll be discussing the Oregon Ducks football schedule for the 2023 season. Last year did very good last year with Dan Lanning as the head coach, going 10-3 last year, beating some good teams like Utah at home. You're at home. When you beat Utah at home, that was a very good win. And then beating UCLA was also a very good win. So you also had some faults. You had some bad games last year that you could have won that you just didn't win. Main one against Washington, I'd say that was the main one. You also had Oregon State, which you just couldn't stop them from running. I think they had 268 yards rushing the ball and came back by not throwing a pass, which is phenomenal for Oregon State, but terrible for Oregon's running defense. And then Georgia, we're not going to discuss Georgia's game. That was terrible. But Oregon got better throughout the year. I think Bo Nix is very good. Took a little bit to get adjusting to Oregon's offense. And I think Bo Nix is a very good quarterback. He is primed to have a Heisman year. He has to have one this year for Oregon to be spectacular, because they have a lot of tough games for the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 is a good conference. I don't care what anyone says. If they talk about the ACC and the Big 12, those conferences don't compare to the Pac-12, because you got USC, you got Washington, you got Utah, you got Oregon. Oregon's a part of those teams. UCLA could be very good this year. Oregon State. So, yeah. But let's talk about the spring game a little bit. I like how Bo Nix played a little bit. Played some. I like how he played there, but we know how Bo Nix is. He's great, and then he has some terrible decision making, which is a problem. But Bucky Irving also is a good running back for them, so that'll help him out. Just take off the little pressure that Bo Nix has, because Bo Nix can run the ball very well, but Bucky Irving's just better because he's a running back. And then the pass coverage looked pretty good for Oregon, which is always a good sign. They had some deep balls give up, but the short passes were guarded very well, but the deep balls were opened up a little bit bigger than they should have been. And then you also had Troy Franklin, who is very good. He led them receiving last year, so maybe he can bounce back and have another season like he had last year. But let's get into their schedule this year. Sorry if I deep breathing at all. I don't know why. I just am today. But yeah, first of all, you're at home against Portland State. You're going to beat Portland State, so good start. Then you're at Texas Tech. I have to really debate this one, because I like how Texas Tech's going to play. I think their defense has improved. Their offense has always not been a problem. You're at Texas Tech, totally different environment than what Oregon's used to. And I was like, oh, this could be tough. But you also got to remember, Bo Nix is so prepared for these type of games. He's been in every environment you could possibly imagine. Because remember, he's at Auburn for a couple years. Auburn, you face all the SEC opponents, and then Pac-12, you face all the Western opponents. Now you're facing the Midwest. He's prepared for this environment. I think Oregon and this Texas Tech will have a very close game, but I got Oregon barely winning this one. So shout out to Oregon. I think also Oregon has the best colors for jerseys by far in the country. I love them jerseys. So I got Oregon winning that one. Then you're at home versus Hawaii. You're going to beat Hawaii. And then you're at home versus Colorado. We'll see if Deion Sanders' team can actually play good. I doubt that. But I got Oregon winning this one. And then you're at Stanford. They're smart, but you're not going to win. A couple years ago, they beat Oregon, which was a huge surprise. But some controversy in that game. But I got Oregon winning this one. So you start off the year nice 5-0. And then you're going to Washington. And you had last year, you messed up your playoff chances with this game. Bo Nix got kind of hurt. You went for it on 4th and 2 at your own 40. And then that didn't work, and then you kicked a field goal, and then couldn't respond, and you lost because of that. All that debacle, and you want revenge this year. Michael Penix is very good. I have him as a top 3 Heisman candidate this year. I think he's very good. I think his offense can explode this year. Their offense and defense, their defense isn't bad. Their offense is very good. Kind of like Oregon's, but they're just run differently. Only thing that concerns me about Oregon in this game is Bo Nix's ability to actually make the right read consistently, because I trust Michael Penix on that. Michael Penix had phenomenal stats last year, not that many picks. Bo Nix at times, he looks phenomenal, then he just throws a terrible interception. Like, why? Why? Looks so promising. Why? Then I think Michael Penix won't have those mistakes. At Washington is a tough environment to play in. I got Washington beating Oregon. So I got Oregon losing this one. And then you're at home versus Washington State. You're going to beat Washington State. You almost lost to them last year. Then you had a great comeback. But you're going to beat them this year at home. So I got Oregon beating Washington State. Then you're going to Utah. I think Utah is a very good team with Cam Rising. This was arguably the toughest place to play in the Pac-12 in general. It's proven to hurt teams a lot before. Last year, they beat They beat USC. And I remember 2 or 3 years ago, Utah spanked Oregon at Utah. So Oregon at Utah don't have the best history when it comes to Oregon winning. I think that will continue. I like Utah in this game. I think the environment will be too much. I like the physicality they can come into this game with. I got Utah beating Oregon, so I got Oregon losing this one. Then you're at home again versus California. You're going to beat Cal. Cal's one of the bottom teams in the Pac-12. I don't see them being that good at all, so I got Oregon winning this one. But this is one of the biggest games of the whole year for a lot of things because these games above could easily break anyway. But you got, usually so far, your 3 biggest games of the year so far have been on the road. At Texas Tech, at Washington, at Utah have been on the road. Finally get a big home game. Huge home game right now. You're playing against USC. Probably the best team in the Pac-12, has the best player in the country of Caleb Williams. Again, the offensive minds of Lincoln Riley. He was one of the best he's by far the best offensive coach in my opinion. It's short, not by far, because you got Cliff Kingsbury now on the team. He's very good at that. And you arguably have the best offense in the country if these groups working together, but also their defense is not good. USC's defense has proven not being physical. I think with this Oregon team, they can play physical a little bit. Bucky Irving can run the ball very well. He can get up in open space, dominate the line up front. You got a good chance against USC. But Caleb Williams, when he is healthy, is so tough to beat, and he will never beat his team. Caleb Williams will never beat his own team. You have to go out and beat them. And that sounds kind of weird, saying like, how do you do that? So look at a lot of games, and you can see a lot of games that the quarterback just overthrows stuff, makes bad decisions, and just puts his team in a hole, like Quinn Ewers. I know I'm calling him out. Quinn Ewers last year was terrible in some games, mainly against TCU. Watch a TCU video, by the way, if you're interested in what I mean by that. I put the stats up in that game. But there's teams like that who will beat their own team. Caleb Williams does not do that. Caleb Williams, when he's healthy, is phenomenal. I think USC is going to beat Oregon. I got Oregon dropping this one. Then you're at Arizona State. I think Oregon, not a bad year at all, but you're not looking at a Pac-12 title, in my opinion. You have a chance. You definitely have a chance, but you got to have things break your way now. I doubt that's going to happen, but you need to win out for that to have a chance. You're going to beat Arizona State. So they're one of the bottom feeders in the Pac-12. And then you're at home versus Oregon State. I talked about last year about how Oregon State just ran the ball at Oregon. Oregon, I think, will not have those same problems. They did have a pretty big lead last year against Oregon State before this happened. I got Oregon winning this one against Oregon State. Bo Nix is going to show up well. I got them beating Oregon State in the rivalry game. So I got Oregon going 9-3 on the year. I think Bo Nix is a possible Heisman candidate, but he would have to win one of these, I'd say 2 of these 3 huge games that I mentioned that they're probably going to lose. They got 5 huge ones, 5 huge games that could easily break anyway, I feel like. And maybe outside of USC, because USC can dominate, or Utah. But you could possibly beat Utah, you could possibly beat USC. Same thing for Washington, Texas Tech, and Oregon State. So I think this game's going to bounce anyway. I'm excited to watch Oregon. I was formerly a huge Oregon fan. I just like the Pac-12. I really did. And now I'm kind of reliking it even more. I know I'm in the South, but growing up, I loved watching Marcus Mariota and Oregon play. I know, right? So I think everyone did. Unless you had to play them, which sucked. But shout out to Marcus Mariota. But yeah, I think this team's going to go 9-3. Again, I can see some games break another way. But they need to work on their defense, mainly the rush defense, because what happened with Oregon State last year cannot happen again against any other team, because all these other teams got pretty good quarterbacks. So if you find a good team that can run the ball and have a very good quarterback, you're going to have a lot of days of problems, which puts more pressure on the offense, And if they fumble a little bit, they mess up, they will capitalize, and that was some of your problems last year. Teams will capitalize on your mistakes early on. So yeah, excuse me. Yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe. Hit the like button if you like these type of videos. Comment whatever you want. And also, on Thursday, the Hall of Fame game for the NFL. Football is back. Thankfully, I'll cover that game a bit. But yeah, hit the like buttons. Put down in the comments whatever you want about Oregon. Subscribe if you want to see more of these type of videos. I cover a lot of teams' football schedules throughout the year. And I'll be covering a lot more before the college football year starts. I'll cover whatever comes up in sports usually. So yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. And God bless y'all.